Well, good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and today is July the 23rd. I hope that you're having a beautiful morning. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our H.O.O.D Recovery Services. I'm looking forward to doing your Just for Today in a meditation. Let's go ahead and get into that. If you need to reach out to me, please do so at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. I am developing some beautiful relationships as a direct result of this podcast. I'm excited that people are reaching out, and I'm starting to get to know a little bit about their lives and how they do recovery. And I would love to know something about you. Okay. July 23rd, surrendering self-will. We want and demand that things always go our way. We should know that our past experience, that our way of doing things did not work. I like that. Basic text, page 93. All of us have ideals, plans, and goals for our lives. There's nothing in the program that says we shouldn't think for ourselves, take initiative, and put responsible plans into action. It's when our lives are driven by self-will that we run into problems. When we are living willfully, we go beyond thinking for ourselves. We think only of ourselves. We forget that we are but a part of the world and that whatever personal strength we have is drawn from a higher power. We might even go so far as to imagine that other people exist solely to do our bidding. Quickly, we find ourselves at odds with everyone and everything around us. At this point, we have two choices. We can continue in our slavery to self-will, making unreasonable demands and becoming frustrated because the planet doesn't spin our way. Or we can surrender, relax, seek knowledge of God's will and the power to carry that out and find our way back to a condition of peace with the world. Thinking, taking initiative, making responsible plans, there's nothing wrong with these things, so long as they serve God's will, not merely our own. Just for today, I will plan to do God's will, not mine. If I find myself at odds with everything around me, I will surrender self-will. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Please and thank you. Yeah, I like this. It is a lot about having peace from within so that we don't have to demand it from without. Does that make sense? It's impossible to control anyone, anything, right? We can't control, well, I wouldn't say anything. We can control some things, but there's a false sense of control if we do, right? We cannot control how people respond or what people do. The only thing we have charge over is ourselves. And that peace that we attain isn't from us mindfully pushing our self-will, right? It is from having a relationship that comes out of the process of the third step, the process of humbly asking for your shortcomings to be removed in the seventh step, the process of being able to make a list of people that you owe amends to and then being willing to do it, but also actually making direct amends to them wherever possible, right? So Then after that, our next real encounter in the steps come in that step 11. And that is through prayer and meditation, right? We maintain a conscious contact with God, asking for God's will, revelation of it, and having the power to carry it out, asking for the strength to carry it out, right? So this is not just one easy reading where we say, okay, yeah, we need to mind our own business and take care of our lives and not demand other people to do that for us. No, it's not really even about that. That's too superficial. What this really is about is that peace that comes from within and the work that it takes to attain it so that we don't have to demand it from other people. Your peacefulness, your calm state, your recovery state, your security or confidence within yourself, right, is directly related to your relationship with your higher power and your willingness to do the work of Narcotics Anonymous. And then when you have that, the other stuff outside of yourself that comes towards you as a storm doesn't have the ability to budge you. It's very important that we get to the point where we even know when we are in self-will and when we are in God's will. There's a difference. And again, a lot of it is how you feel from within. That peace that you have from within, a lot of times is not the same feeling that you would get from self-willing something and it just working out. You might have a feeling of vindication, satisfaction, achievement, and none of those are necessarily bad, right? But there's a difference between when you're doing God's will and the peace that comes from that, because you've been given the grace and the power to carry it out, versus having to do it on your own. I was talking to some of my friends, and yeah, I call them friends, right? People that I'm not sponsoring and that are not sponsoring me. I may know them from the rooms of recovery and I may not, right? I was talking to a couple of my friends and the discussion was about, I'm trying to remember how the conversation started exactly, but that's not important. The discussion was about how many of us are out in our community attaining great things. And this is a community that tends to celebrate one another's, like, for some reason, the ability to be funded in this community, one of the main things that you have to do is to collaborate. Like the concept that one person is an island in this community and business is not, it's not the overall culture of this particular community. So many years ago, decades ago, they started writing into their code that if you were going to be granted funds to help your company along, particularly if you're nonprofit, but if you were going to be granted funds, you were going to also have to collaborate with other people in the community. And so we were just having this round table and we were talking about burnout. And I mean, I could just tell their energy was a lot different than I was used to encountering. So I knew that they were tired. And I was like, I think we need to have a day where we step away from pursuits and strategies and agendas and working and our goals and ambitions. We need a day where we just come away from that and address burnout. Do what we need to do to take better care of ourselves, because we're attaining wonderful things, great things. But if we are not taking care of ourselves, if our personal wellness is not in place, then when things come up towards us from outside of us, we sort of get angry, and we want those things to line up with this image of what we want, which is calm, peace. We want successfulness and all of that, but we want things to line up. And we're standing in a place of confusion, and we're demanding the things that are coming towards us to line up so that they don't, at the very least, they don't add more confusion. And that's not how it works. Energy attracts energy. If I walk through the door of my house and I'm angry about something, the moment that I encounter another person within the house, they will instantly start complaining. Instantly. No joke. If I walk through the door and I've done my woosah in the car and I come in, and sometimes I can come in the house undetected, right? If I come in and my spirit is calm, and I may not have had the best day, but I've had the best approach, right? Because I understand I can't control other people, places, or things. I control what goes on from within me and what I participate in. I have authority over that, right? So I come in and I'm feeling calm. I notice that when my first interaction with the first or second person in the house happens, there is a sense of joy, hugs are coming, excitement. I said, that's crazy. Like, they have no idea, either if I'm coming in the door in a bad mood or a good mood, they have no idea what I've gone through during the day. But they can read my energy. They can read my facial expression. And so I was having this discussion with a couple of my friends, and I was like, I'm not burnt out. I am honestly not burned out. I'm tired sometimes, and that comes from not having enough sleep. But my mental energy is able, or thinking that it's able. It is positive, first of all. It's not pessimistic. I'm very optimistic. I am excited about living in my personal life. I am really pretty darn proud of myself for sticking with this school game. This, I dropped the ball on homeschooling because I was getting some very unkind pressure. However, my personal schooling, working on this master's degree, yeah, I'm very proud of myself that with as little support and very unhealthy physical health issues, that I've been able to stay the course. Okay. So I was telling my friends, I'm not burnt out. Not right now. I'm not burnt out, and I don't want to be burnt out. I want to enjoy what I do. The hardest part for me is when conflict comes. And I can tell, just like the kids can tell my energy, I can tell the energy of certain people when I'm interacting with them. That's the hardest part, because I always have to remember to fix my spirit, fix my face, and never reflect their energy through my being. Never reflect it. I don't match your energy. I refuse to match another person's energy. Right now, if I'm just having a physically bad day and I'm not feeling well, yeah, my energy will take a dip, but my mind never takes a dip, right? My energy from within never takes a dip because I'm God dependent. I'm God reliant, I'm God dependent, and I'm God confident. And that's what I want for you. I want for you to look at how far are you willing to surrender your self-will in order to be able to have the peace, the joy, the excitement, the love, the faith, the endurance, the self-control, the have these spiritual principles or fruitages, right? That come from a connection to a divine higher power outside of yourself. And I threw divine in there because I think that many people can have higher powers, but actually what they're dependent on, whether it be a person or spirit, is not divine in a good way, right? It's not divine. I consider divine as something that is positive energy, positive spirit, loving and caring. And a lot of people have higher powers, unfortunately, that don't allow them to develop that way, right? So the source of their power is not good, even though they're calling it a higher power. It's really more of a lower destructive power, you know? And so I want for you to figure out how far are you willing to go with surrendering your self-will so that you can have that energy. You can be the attraction in the room rather than the promotion. How far are you willing to go with this level of surrender? I'm willing to go all the way. I plan to do God's will and not mine. If I find myself at odds with everything around me, I will surrender self-will. I am committed to that. I am committed to doing that every moment, every second, every hour, every day of my life, because that determines a lot for me about how my energy is and how well I actually feel. And I want my being to feel excellent every day. It's not everything that I encounter is not great, but I'm not going to allow it to dictate my energy on that level. And I want the same thing for you. I want the same thing for you. So today, please commit. When you get done with this podcast, I want you to commit yourself to a moment of silence, say the we version of the Serenity prayer, and then make a list, right? Make a list of 3 things that you will do today that are positive and beneficial to your personal wellness. If spending time with your grandchildren is what you need to do to have a sense of wellness, then fine. But generally speaking, I'm talking about what are you going to do for personal wellness today? I don't consider getting my nails and hair done personal wellness. I consider those things bills that if I pay them, they take away from me being able to maintain my home, maintain my bills, and they cause me further problems. Okay. So for me, let me drink this coffee for a second so I can make it make sense to you. For me, having my nails done professionally only irks me because I don't like having to soak my nails in acetone to get them off. I don't like having acrylic or anything pull away from my natural nail and tear it. My natural nail is very very healthy, right? Very sharp, very healthy, and they can be very long if I allow them to grow. I don't believe in having people do I've done it for a couple. When I got my Jeep, I got my nails done, and I have not had my nails done since 2017. I am not a person that enjoys damaging my natural beauty so that I measure up to what other people say is outward beauty. Right? Do I wear makeup? Absolutely. Do I wear it every day? No, I don't. Do I have to wear it or feel that I'm dependent upon it? Absolutely not. My skin is not the greatest, and I think I know why, right? I think there's things that I could do to make it better. But for me personally, I think that having someone do my hair, put heat on my hair, chemicals on my hair, these are not things that I consider beneficial to me because I have such sensitive skin that chemicals burn me very easily, right? So that's not personal wellness to me. If that's personal wellness for you, then do that, right? That's not personal wellness for me. Personal wellness for me is getting up before anyone in my family rises, getting my warm coffee or dandelion root drink, whatever it is that I'm going to drink to start my day, and sitting or standing out on my porch with a cool breeze and thinking about how beautiful the world is when everyone is asleep. I mean, I enjoy quiet moments. And I'm more introverted than I'm extroverted. I don't need other people in my life in order to feel good, right? I don't get my energy from other people in social events. I don't get my energy. Those demand a lot from me. And when I'm engaging in those, I always have in the back of my mind, when this is over, I'm going to do some prayer and meditation, right? I get my strength from within. I get my strength from God is my source. So I want for you today to commit to doing 3 things that are going to be personal wellness for you, whatever they are. If it's your hair, girl, then it's your hair. If it's getting your hair lined up and you're a gent, then do that. If it's your nails, do that. If it's going to Planet Fitness and working out for 15 minutes because you've had the membership for 5 years and you don't ever use it, but you need to get in shape, then do that. When I'm done with this, I am speaking at 1:00 today for some women on the East Coast. It's a 15 to 20 minute share. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I'm going to do it because someone was courageous enough to reach out to me and ask me. So I'm going to do it. My mindset is honestly, that this is an hour-and-a-half meeting and I don't have that much time in my day, right? So I'm going to need to readjust my thinking before that happens, because I think it's rude to be the speaker and to leave, even though I believe if you need to leave, you leave. So I'm going to have to make sure from 1 to 2:30 that my mind is where it needs to be and present with these other ladies that are going to be in the room, right? So I am going to do a couple of different things, right, for personal wellness. One of them is going to be doing some stretching. And then I'm going to go test my ability to jog, see how far I'm able to go, because the weather right now reminds me of morning weather in India, and it is just beautiful to me. I just want to be outdoors in this particular weather this morning. So thank you very much for listening. And today you're going to work on surrendering self-will and doing